From BBC Radio Scotland, this is Sports Sound.
Don't be stupid, boys. Turn off Clyde, support your side.
I would like to leave this city. This old town don't smell too pretty, and I can feel the warning signs running around my mind. And when I leave this island, I book myself into a soul asylum, 'cause I can feel the warning signs running around my mind. So here I go, still scratching around in the same old hole. My body feels young, but my mind is very old. So what do you say? You can't give me the dreams that are mine anyway.
Good day, good evening, good afternoon, or good morning, wherever you are in the world. You're listening to the Half the World Away Celtic podcast from Hail Hail Media. My name's Kevin O'Neill and I'm based in Mandurah in Western Australia, originally from Coatbridge. And as always, joined all the way over on the other side of the country in Melbourne, Victoria, by my good friend and the housewife's favourite, Mr. Patrick Close, originally from Airdrie. Good day, Pat.
Good day, Kev.
How are you, mate? I'm good. You're sounding very Aussie there.
Fair income. I know all the words. I know all the good words. Fair income.
You do, mate. You do. How have you been, Pat? It's a long time since we've had a show.
Working hard, Kev. That's pretty much it. Been working hard and looking after the kids. And dog had an injury with Jinky. Got a knee injury, Kev. I never told you that one.
Tragic. No.
Wow. Having a wee bit of a play in the back garden, and he sort of got a little porch at the back of the house, and he ran and jumped off onto the grass and basically pretty much dislocated his kneecap.
Oh, poor wee Jinky.
Yeah, poor wee Jinky. So it was a tragic wee thing.
Vet bills?
But luckily there's a tip for anyone out there: pet insurance. Don't forget your pet insurance. Dear, oh dear, man. We were up for a fair bit, but 80% of it was covered through some pet insurance. So
luckily, get well soon, wee Jinky.
Yeah, so he's all right. I mean, he had to, and he basically had to get his it's like a bone in the front of his knee, and it had to get screwed back in. Basically, he had to. So it's a labradoodle. If you've ever seen a labradoodle, they're quite hairy little things, and had to shave his leg. So he's walking around one bare leg. Poor wee thing. But anyway, never mind. He's in good spirits now. He's getting back to normal. So.
Fair play. So, and it's just the two of us right now, Pat. We haven't got anybody else on. We're expecting Liam to join us shortly. He's on his way back from partying or something like that in Osaka, Japan. But he's on the way back in a train, but he's running a little bit late. But I'm very Tommy tired and I couldn't hang on any longer. We needed to get the show on the road, because I'm hoping, famous last words, it's a quick show tonight, but again, we'll see how it pans out. But if you are listening live, probably not. But if you are and you fancy interacting with us tonight, you can send us a message on Twitter if you want, and you can tweet us at halftheworld88. Any questions or comments at all, or anything you want us to chat about, or there's the chat room as well, Spreaker chat room. You can leave some message in there. And if you're feeling really brave, you could Skype us if you want. Skype name again is halftheworld88. If you want to call in. But Liam should be with us shortly. But without further ado, Pat, as I said right back at the start, it's been a while since I've been on, mate. But since our last show, we have done 4 in a row. which was always going to be highly on the cards. And even although Aberdeen kind of hung in there for quite a while towards the end, when you look at the way it finished, I think we finished at 17 points clear at the top of the league, or something along those lines. When you look at the final table, and it was pretty comfortable in the end, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. I mean, I think Aberdeen had given up the ghost a bit earlier in the sort of the campaign, so it wasn't. Yeah, it was kind of be expected a little bit, just with the fact that they'd sort of given up a little bit. But yeah, I mean, like they did the right thing. I mean, everything there was never. I'm not saying it wasn't in doubt, but there was certainly an element where we were under a little bit of pressure, and the players certainly didn't show it. The management didn't really show it. So so kind of fair dues to them. You know, they withstood the pressure, and they win the games they had to win. And like after New Year, they've been playing brilliantly. You know, it's a pleasure even this far away to sort of get up in the early hours and stuff to watch them at the moment. So long may that continue, and hopefully it progresses into the sort of the new season and stuff. So I mean, they finished off. Yeah, well, they finished off really well. I mean, I said we smacked Inverness as well. I mean, Inverness are obviously resting a few guys for the cup final. Yeah. St Johnstone game. It was a draw, wasn't it? It was nothing each.
It was nothing. It was a no score bore. It was quite a tricky game actually, that one.
Yeah. I actually didn't think, from what I remember, I didn't actually think, some people were slagging off, I didn't actually think it was that bad a game. Thought we played alright, but just the fact couldn't.
St Johnstone were right up for it, as they seem to have been several times this season against us.
Yep. They're not a bad outfit. I mean, stuffy, probably the best you call them. A little bit tricky to.
Yeah. They seem to have us sussed to a bit of an extent. I think they've done. They're one of the teams that have probably done. I don't know how you could compare with the other teams, but just thinking back quickly, they're a team that's taken a few points off us this season. Finished fourth in the league as well, St Johnstone, so they're not a bad outfit. But it was nice that last game of the season against Cali Thistle. It's always nice on Trophy Day when you thump the team, as you said. It was Cali had an eye on the cup final the following week as well, so they probably weren't. They'd rested quite a few players, and they didn't want to pick up any injuries, the guys that were playing. But it was a nice performance. It's always nice to see us scoring quite a few goals as well.
Yeah. Well, I listened to stuff on, I think it was Radio Scotland from memory. I think they did the sort of podcast a day or two after I listened to it, and I think the way that John Hughes was talking, I think they were happy to get away with 5-0. It was 5-0 going on.
Yeah,
5 more. It was a spanking, let's face it.
It was.
But then you think back to the Aberdeen game, I don't know if you obviously, well, it seems like a lifetime ago now, but think back to I think it's probably one of the better goals of the season from what I remember. It was the one Scott Brown basically one side of the park to the next, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. No, it was a cracker. It was a cracker. Fully deserved as well, and kind of put them in their place.
They did, yeah.
A little bit, which was good.
I'd say I think they, for me, just had given up the ghost a bit before that, so it was one of the games that it mattered, but didn't really matter. It was me playing for a bit of pride, I think, they'd saved nothing more than that. But no, happy days. It's all going well, kind of going well. But there's obviously going to be sort of shifting in the sort of the squad and stuff like that, and obviously we'll go in and talk about some of those guys and what we think is going to happen. But I mean, it's been a relatively interesting one already. We've got our first signing already, so
that's right. Yeah, we don't know too much about the guy, but hopefully, if he can come in and be in a similar mould to either Jason Denier or Virgil van Dijk, then it'll be good. But it remains to be seen what he'll be like, the guy. But yeah, fingers crossed, he'll slot in there. Because it's not looking good that we're going to have either Jason Denier or Virgil van Dijk at Celtic Park next season in any capacity. Big Virgil was making these noises the other day in the Dutch media and things like that he's pretty much touting himself for a move just now as well. So Denier has kind of said that he wouldn't rule out a return to Celtic, mind you, if Man City are happy enough with that arrangement. So you never know, maybe Denier could come back. I don't know if it would influence him having Boyata there beside him, his fellow Belgian. Who knows? But we'll see. It's going to be tricky, though, Pat. I think, especially with the important Champions League qualifiers coming up, and to disrupt what's arguably the strongest part of our team, is going to set us back a little bit potentially.
It's not just disrupted it, Kev. It's completely disintegrated because Van Dijk goes and Denier was there obviously for part of the year. I mean, we're back to Effie, which is everyone's favourite backup, but nobody really wants to see him play there as a.
I can't see that being I'm pretty certain if I can see us bringing in another centre half. I can't see Dyla saying Effie's good enough to get us into the Champions League. I can't see that happening at all. Boyata, again, hopefully he hits around the ground running, the guy. But if Van Dijk's not there and Deniers doesn't come back for another loan or whatever, I can see us trying to bring in another centre half. If we don't, I will be very, very nervous about qualifying, getting through those qualifiers. That's for sure. But anyway, there's a lot of time to go yet before we've got the teams ready, the squad ready to see how we're going to be lined up. So let's not be too down on it just now. Although our season finished, Pat, after the trophy day, the season still went on for a little bit, and we maybe had half an eye on what was going on with Sevco's attempts at getting into the top league for their first time in their history. And of course, when they got Queen of the South, and they kind of struggled a little bit against them, but then Hibs, they kind of knocked them out. When you're thinking, oh, this is not good. You didn't really know how things would go with Motherwell because they had been too used to not winning games, I suppose, during the course of the SPFL season. We've just been joined, I think, by Liam. Are you there, Liam?
Hail, boys. How we doing?
Hail, Liam. How are you, mate?
Good. Please tell me I haven't missed the Hun scalping.
No, we're just actually getting on to it right now. We're just about to get on to it. No, I was just saying, Liam, how obviously our season had finished, but there was still some football to be played, and we probably did have a bit of an eye on Sevco's attempts to get into the top league for the first time in their history. And just saying how after they'd get past Queen of the South, they'd get past Hibs, and then they're up against Motherwell. And I must admit, I thought the Hibs game would have been the tougher game for them, or the tougher tie for them, for the simple fact that Hibs had been, winning games and were used to winning games, whereas I think any team, as Hibs proved last season, the team that's potentially going down, they're on a bit of a downer. They've been used to losing most of the season, hence why they're in that predicament. That's true. I mean, watching the game, and I don't know if you guys watched them, I didn't see the first leg, but I certainly saw the second leg, and it was glorious. Did you catch it, Liam?
I did. Aye.
Yeah. And what were your thoughts on their, let's call it, a performance in quote marks?
Well, I think we've been a wee bit harsh on them. I mean, for a club that's less than 3 years old, they did all right, almost getting to the Premier League. I mean, it's quite an achievement actually when you think about it.
This is true, I suppose, yeah.
In all seriousness, I fucking pissed myself. I just like all the years of suffering through them cheating to 9 in a row, through all their bloody Masonic tomfoolery with the SFA to get away with murder again and again and again. This is payback.
Absolutely.
And I make no apologies whatsoever for enjoying every second of it.
Yeah. No.
Right, okay, boys. Let me ask you this. Now, be honest, right? Think of it as they stand right now. Have they been punished enough?
Absolutely not.
No, definitely
not.
Keep it coming, okay.
They've had. I mean, the thing. I think you're spot on, Liam. The thing that just, I think they keep thinking there's light. They've been thinking there's light at the end of this tunnel for several years now. But as soon as they start feeling a little bit positive again. Then they just get another kick to the stones, and it is good. You've got to say, and not just to be, knocked out by the odd goal. They were comprehensively gubbed, absolutely gubbed, and they were pretty much from that second leg game that I'd seen. Motherwell were very, very comfortable. Very comfortable. They didn't look in any danger whatsoever. I think that there was a couple of the Motherwell goals were a little bit fluky. My little girl was watching it with me, funnily enough, and I had come out of the kitchen to grab a beer. And but no sooner had I came out and she shouts, "Oh, Motherwell have scored!" So of course I runs in and I saw the big looping. It was a bit of a wicked deflection, looping up into the air and getting in sort of thing. But you knew it was bloody all over bar the singing and the dancing and the moshny, bloody punching.
Oh, gee.
I was watching that when that goal went in. I think I realised my true calling, because it's you see that keeper flapping at the ball at that. I once had a tryout for Queen's Park when I was a boy. As a goalkeeper, and I'd throw the ball in the net for a quarter of the money that he's on.
Good point. Yeah. And I mean, I think were they trying to blame the sun or something like this as well? But he's just made a complete and utter arse of it.
He's made a cock of it, and there's absolutely no other way to explain it.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. The first one, I'd even forgot the game was on, and was on like a Sunday night, wasn't it? From what was it? A Thursday? No, it was Thursday night.
The first leg was Thursday night. I think.
So it's Friday morning, Friday morning our time. Yeah. And I got up and I was, getting ready for work and stuff now, and so because I'm kind of on call all the time at work, so I got my phone in the bedroom, and so I'll go in, get my shave and shower. Next one, an SMS comes in. I'm thinking, oh god, this is work. Something's going wrong with work, which is kind of the way we get notified of these issues. And I checked my phone. It was Sean Fitzgerald from our club. It was something, I can't remember what the comment was, but someone was kind of chuckle moments, and I was like, oh, I forgot about the game, so. Quickly run, grab a laptop, fired up. So I'm basically getting shaved there, watching the game, and it was, and I swear to God, I'd put the laptop on, powered up, tuned into the game, and I would say within 30 seconds, Rangers scored. Oh no, I can't believe this. It was 3-1. Just my bloody
just
luck.
Your luck. Typical Monklands luck.
But that sort of 5-10 minute spell, it was basically backs to the wall for Motherwell. I mean, it was the. Yeah. Not saying they didn't have any chances. I don't actually. Maybe they did. I can't remember. But it was certainly backs to the wall for most of the end of it. And I went into the second leg thinking that they're just going to bottle it. Motherwell are just going to absolutely bottle it. So, but fair dues to them. The cruise of it. You have to say that some of the goals were. I know you're saying fluky, but if that was your team, you'd be thinking you must be cursed. If you're getting the three, big deflect. I mean, the keepers. I'm not really blaming that. That wasn't fluky. That was just a complete. It makes a pig's arse of it. So there's no other explanation. But but they have sort of deflected goals, and not just little deflections as well. Like you're talking like opposite, 30, 40 degree angles and stuff like that. You'd be thinking the gods are against you, but
and they are indeed.
They are indeed. But, God bless them.
Apparently, if you look up Schadenfreude dictionary, it's just a photo of Ibrox.
What was that, Liam?
So apparently, if you look up Schadenfreude in a dictionary now, it's just a photo of Ibrox.
Yes, it was. There's certainly an element of that, but it's great at work with people, because other people know I'm a Scottish football fan, and you get quizzed on it. And it was the guy I was working, a contractor came in. I was sort of working on a certain project, and he's of Serbian descent, so he's having this chat to me, and he's. Because I've got on my little, you've seen it, Kevin, my little dog tag thing. I've got a I've got a little Celtic thing where my pass is for work, and he's obviously, I could see him looking down on it, and it's like, okay, fair enough. So didn't say anything. So it turns out this guy apparently of Serbian descent, so he's a Australian guy, but apparently he spent some 3-4 years at Red Star Belgrade on trial as a goalkeeper. So anyway, so he knows his stuff. So he's chatting away. He's going, Celtic and Rangers and stuff like that. He's like, it must be, it's bad, it's really bad. What about Rangers? It's bad for Scottish football, isn't it? And I was like, aye, it's fucking devastating. I'm absolutely, I don't know what to do with myself. And he's going, it's terrible, he thought I was being serious. So he's having this conversation with me, and I went, mate, you've got no idea. You've got no idea. And he's going, oh no. So we're having this nice chat, and then he's turned around and he went, look, I'm of Serbian descent.
Yeah.
I get the whole thing. Think of Serbia, Croatia.
Yeah.
If anybody knows anything about that sort of
Yeah.
rivalry, then it's me and my kind. So
Mhm.
we got on like a house on fire after that, talking football most of the time. But anyway, that's the perception over here, is that it's bad for Scottish football that Rangers didn't make it. But
I think they just go by the mainstream media, really. It's what they're saying. Just because that was the mainstream view over back home, it was that's the way it is. And any kind of other nation looking in on the situation, I think that's the way they'll see it. But they probably just don't understand the real feelings underneath there, because I don't know too many Celtic fans that are really crying that Sevco aren't around next season.
But controversially, Kev, ultimately for the publicity of Scottish football, it is bad if you think about it. So how many Scottish football games are you going to see over here? It's hard to kind of push Scottish football without those big games. So,
but I see. I mean, yeah, you're talking about on free to air television or something like that. I don't think you'd see any.
Just a general interest in Scottish football, because
I'm guessing you would maybe get a Celtic Sevco game on SBS potentially if it was on, would you?
Yep, you would. Yeah, we've had that here. And you're talking even like you get to a cup final, whatever. Against them, it would, even that's on free air, but it is in a sort of roundabout way, and different to Scotland. Back in Scotland, it would just be brilliant at the moment. Because just you think of, it's just a whole role reversal of I think of, I used to work in Clydebank at the time, but going through the whole sort of 10 in a row, 9 in a row, 10 in a row stuff, and it was flipping torture.
Oh, it was painful.
And it was as difficult a time as you would ever experience, but as a football fan, and not that you ever gave up the ghost, but you couldn't see a way out of it. It was just you just could not see a way out of it. And then obviously the tides have turned, and it's things are rosy on the east end of Glasgow, and
absolutely
things are sinking down towards Govan. But it would just be amazing back there. But you think of internationally, think of it, other countries just Scottish football didn't have a great reputation in the first place. But then you take away, the whole, old firm in inverted commas is even used over here. Then it's it doesn't kind of reflect well. But not that we really care, But sometimes you just want sort of Scottish football to be recognised and judged a little bit better than it is. And while they're not there, it's not judged in anything at all. It's judged as I would say the Australians probably perceive the Australian league to be better than the Scottish league at the moment, because
quite possibly.
There's no them in it, you know what I mean? So,
yeah. See, to be honest though, boys, sorry to interrupt. I'm going to kind of take a different track on that. Maybe disagree with you a wee bit, Pat. Just for the simple reason that, see, when Rangers died, to me, it's an opportunity to rebrand Scottish football. Like, for example, okay, a couple of, I'm going back about 5 years here. When I was in Tokyo, get chatting to this Japanese guy in the pub one night. And he's like, "Oh, where are you from?" I said, "Oh, I'm from Scotland." He said, "Oh yeah, Scotland. Oh yeah, you like soccer?" I said, "Well, football, yeah." Aye. Anyway, and he says, "Oh, so Celtic and Rangers, yeah, big rivals." I says, "Yeah, that's right." He went, "Oh yeah, Catholic, Protestant, you hate each other, right?" I says, "No, some of my best mates are Protestants. I'm not a Catholic. I don't practice religion." He's like, "Oh, but I thought Celtic is Catholic and Rangers is Protestant." And the thing is, I've had that same conversation almost verbatim dozens of times in the last few years, in Hong Kong and Japan.
That's a very simplistic view of the whole thing, but you can see where it comes from.
Aye, they're getting fed that by the mainstream media and by the international media as well. Yeah. And with the Huns out of the equation, I see this as a chance to rebrand Scottish football. I mean, take the example of Rosenborg in Norway, right?
Yeah.
Now, recent years, they've kind of fallen away a bit, but for about 15 years, they were unchallenged in Norwegian football. They won the league, I think, something like 12 times in a row or something. It's ridiculous. And
they did very well in the Champions League as well. That was when Bratbach was firing on all cylinders for them. But yeah, they punched above their weight.
But you never read in the Norwegian press about, oh, we need a strong God set or whatever. No, you never read that. It was always like, oh, Rosenborg are doing so well. This is good for Norwegian football. This is good for everybody. You don't get that with Celtic, and it's because the vast majority of our media do not want to see Celtic do well.
Yeah. I don't think you can argue with that. I don't think you can at all. It's but you're right, and as Pat was saying as well earlier there about the whole, the way the Scottish League is, it's perceived as being a lot poorer. But as you're saying, this has been an opportunity to rebrand it. And see if you think back, and okay, the populations of the countries are completely different, but don't try to tell me that the product that the English Premier League has now become, and let's face it has taken quite a while to get there, albeit it's come in leaps and bounds, and it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. But see teams like Swansea City, teams like, I always remember when Crystal Palace, I don't know why this always jumps into my head, but in the fairly early days, but when the Premiership was growing and you had teams like Crystal Palace that were able to sign players like Attilio Lombardo and guys like this, and I'm thinking to myself, right, there is no way in the world that if you were to offer guys that were like that in their prime, if Celtic were playing on a stage like that, with the money to throw at that, don't try to tell me a player like that would rather go to a team like Crystal Palace than say Celtic. It's just completely ludicrous to think it. So I think you're spot on, Liam. The idea of the rebranding thing, it's the product that you've got to sell. And Scottish football, okay, it might not be the best football, but I mean, Christ, you get some shitty games in the English Premier League. But because of all the hoo-ha that goes around it, they can make a bloody Stoke City versus Burnley game sound like one of the most attractive things on the planet. And bloody hell, imagine thinking that in the 80s or something. Stoke City, let's all tune in tonight and watch Stoke City versus Burnley. Christ almighty, get a grip.
But here's the thing as well, that's the main, you've hit the nail on the head there, Kev. The main thrust of the problem is that we waste too much time comparing ourselves to England.
Yeah.
England is in a different fucking galaxy compared to Scottish football. There is no point.
We'll just continue where you are.
There we go. We're back. Hopefully back on there. No idea what happened there, boys. Anyway.
Okay, so Liam, as you were saying, it's comparing the Scottish football to English football futile, Liam, you were saying.
Aye. And while I'm on my high horse here, I will say that we need to, I've said it before, we need to follow the Japanese model, because the J League is globally probably similar status level to the Scottish League, right? They play a season from March until November, with a couple of weeks break in the summer. We should do the same. Because think about it. November's when it starts to get really, really cold in Scotland.
Yeah.
And by March, you're past winter. And that's just common sense. Not just in the Premier League, but think about like your Clyde, your Albion Rovers, your Stenhousemuir, these wee teams that can't afford under soil heating. The teams that if a game gets postponed, it is a serious financial issue for them.
Yeah.
If you'd move to the March to November calendar, postponements would, by and large, become a thing of the past. It would the whole thing would flow so much smoother. The other thing they do here, which I think is a great idea, the League Cup, right? Now, the League Cup is, of course, it's good if you win it, but it's still, apart from being the icing on the treble, it's not really got much status in its own right. So I think what they do here, in Japan they call it the Emperor's Cup. And it's basically, it's the same sort of knockout tournament, but it's played over about 3 weeks in December at the end of the season. And the final's played on December 23rd, the Emperor's birthday. And that's a great way to round off the season. Whoever, quite often teams who come second or third in the league end up winning the Emperor's Cup because they see it as a kind of a revenge, a way of saying, well, actually, we are the best team, And I could see similar things happening in Scotland. I could see us squishing the league, but then maybe Aberdeen or Dundee United winning the League Cup,
Yep.
If you're in it in the same format. And I just think that's a great way. The viewing figures are much better than they get for regular J League games. It's definitely something to consider.
It's, obviously Japan's got a massive population, I guess, but in terms of the actual quality of the football, I guess that's what you're talking about there, Liam. But in Oz as well, the way they market the A-League now, they are starting to go down a similar path to what Sky did with the English Premier League many moons ago, because it's saturated coverage through Fox Sports, which is your Sky Sports equivalent basically, and they show every single game over the weekend is shown live on that channel. It's basically every single game is live, and you can see that they're ramping up their marketing. And I mean, some of the attendances you get at these A-League games now are really, really good. The teams are well followed. You get a good kind of, you could describe it as, would you say, a European atmosphere at these games as well, Pat? Especially with likes of Melbourne Victory and Western Sydney Wanderers, Sydney FC. They can get some pretty decent atmospheres. But I mean, the quality of football itself isn't. It's certainly not fantastic by any manner of means. But they've got a product and they're marketing it very well. Just the Scottish Premier Football League just does not market itself very well at all. It's just. It's miserable. It really is miserable. I mean, you see they package up a highlights program that they must sell to countries around the world, because we get it here on beIN Sports. They'll show it once a week. Now, I very rarely tune into it. It's only half an hour long, but it's pathetic. Just the way it's put together. It's Mickey Mouse. It's really amateurish. It's Rob McLean doing his wee bit. It's like rewinding back to what sports scene might have been like 20 years ago. That's honestly what the coverage is like. And then you look at the slick kind of the Premier League, English Premier League preview shows that you get on every channel that you turn on to. But again, you'll get that on Fox Sports. But just the professional way it's presented, very similar to the way the Champions League preview programmes were put together. That you used to watch. It's night and day the way that the league is marketed and the way it's put out there. And to say that, we're just we are just a wee country of 5 million, but bloody hell, the resources that they've got compared to some other countries, it's still a hell of a lot better. And they could do a hell of a lot better with it. And having Sevco there or not, I agree with you, Liam. I think that's a spun story by the Scottish mainstream media again, that one needs the other just as much. But I think that's a load of crap as well. The other teams will find a level there. We're head and shoulders above right now, but there's no reason why other teams couldn't find a level there and start challenging if again it's marketed correctly.
See, Kev, it's being a bit of a devil's advocate here, right? So if you think of who they're trying to sell it to. You're talking about marketing the Scottish game to an audience of some sort, right? Now, in places like here, I'm guessing America, USA, and Canada, and like Scottish football it's just a filler. That half hour show you're talking about in beIN Sports, it's never going to be any more than that. Without us playing, the Huns four times a year, it's never going to be any more than just a filler on TV channels here. In Scotland, in the UK, you get the stuff before the game, you get the stuff after the game, you get the half time. Over here, we don't even, we get, as you know, we get literally Zippo. If you're watching through normal beIN Sports, the coverage starts about, at best 5 minutes before the game starts, and all it is a picture of a camera behind the goal. Yeah. And then all of a sudden you hear there's no commentary, no hunt, and the players come out in the park, and then it goes to the coverage of BT Sport or Sky, whoever's got it. Yeah. And more often than not, you'll get the same commentary, which I still find hilarious to try and blank out all the adverts and stuff like coming
when
up
they say
this week on BT Sport. Just leave it. We know it's not your coverage. We know it doesn't belong to flipping beIN Sports. So stop trying to fudge it and make it as if it actually is. But you also, what you also, just a second, Liam.
They do exactly the same way.
Liam. One at a time, lads. One at a time. Hold on.
Sorry.
So what you also got here is you don't get all the fancy, you don't get all the graphics, you don't get all the stats. You basically don't get any. You essentially get what you see on your TV screen without all the graphics, without all the
that's right.
He's had 15 touches and it's 49% possession for this. In the past, we don't get any of that. So right. You talk about who you're marketing the game to. They have to determine who they're going to try and push the game and try and promote the game too. Because if you're going to try and do it to people in Australia, no disrespect, but you need the Glasgow Derby matches to do that, because people will not watch it. Otherwise, the only people that are watching, I would say, the games over here are people like us.
Yeah.
People that are actually, of Scottish descent, maybe Irish, maybe a tiny little percent of English, just the fact that they've got BN Sports. It's 9 o'clock on a Saturday night. Celtic are playing Motherwell away, and there's nothing on the telly. That's about the best you're going to get. So I just don't see if they're going to try and market it, they need to try and determine who they're going to market it to. Because to countries like here, I'm guessing the same New Zealand, I'm guessing the same Canada, I'm guessing the same USA. Unless you're going to have the big matches to show people, there's just no interest for them. It is literally just even as a football fan, would you sit and watch TV if it was, flipping, I don't know, the Greek league? Would you sit and watch it if it was a Greek league? Or the Norwegian league? Well, probably not. Would you even record it? Probably not. If it was a game that was on...
I'll bring you back to my point earlier though about Stoke City versus Burnley. I mean, is that a fixture that you would go out your way to watch?
No.
Right here, right now. I mean, that's clashes that happen right now in supposedly the top league in the world. If there was nothing else to watch in the world, I wouldn't tune into that game.
Yep. So, but that's the way it's promoted over here. But they're trying to push the whole English. They're pushing the English game as a whole package over here. Yeah. But the Scottish league is a package. There isn't much of a package to sell, if you know what I mean. So, again, what was getting to the point was if it was 9 o'clock on a Saturday night and there was nothing on the telly, and I was channel hopping and there was a game on there from the Greek Football League, and it looked as if it was not a bad game, I might watch a wee bit of it. But I'm not going to tune in every week. I'm not going to record it, So it's really the people you're trying to push to are the genuine Scottish football fans, maybe the British football fans. You're not going to sell games in China. You're not going to sell games in Japan. The way it currently stands, I just don't see any point in this whole rebranding the game, because there isn't really a brand there to sell internationally. They're not going to make millions upon millions of pounds selling it to the Australian market, because they don't really care. They're saturated by English football. They've got their own A-League. They've got all these other leagues that they can watch. It's just there's other sports over here. There's Aussie Rules. There's rugby league stuff. There's just all right. Australia's just one. It's not a tiny country, but in terms of population, it's pretty small. You're just not going to sell Scottish football there without without the big matches, without those 4 to 6 big matches a year. So that's kind of my take on it. When they're talking about rebranding the game and pushing the game and trying to promote the Scottish game, to me, they're just at the moment they're fighting a losing battle, because there's so much other stuff around. And again, US would be the same. They've got baseball, they've got American football. You're not going to sell and get the game to generate enough interest in countries out with the UK. So you'd be as well kind of focusing on what you can get for people in Scotland. And I don't know what the coverage is like over there. It seems okay from the bit I see, but again, it's all the kind of the after shows, all the add-ons. You think of Aussie Rules here, Kev. You've got the footy show. A big show like the footy show is like the Aussie Rules. There's an NRL, there's a rugby league one as well, and it's massive. I mean, you're talking how many? There'd be a million or so people watch it on a Thursday night here, and it's hilarious. It's pretty funny stuff, But they cover all the teams, they cover all the games. You've got talking footy, you've got stuff. At one stage they had like an AFL channel on satellite or cable TV, sorry. And that's basically just showed all games. They showed reruns of games at the weekend. It ran, it closed down.
I've got it on in the background right now. It's called Fox Footy, Pat.
Oh, that's right. It came back. I do apologise, because they had it, then they stopped it. They merged it into another sports channel, and then they've I was going to say rebranded it, but they've just
wall to wall Aussie Rules 24/7 every day of the year, pretty much. But when the season's in full flight, that's it. It's because they're actually still going on about they're still analysing the Port Adelaide Geelong game, actually, which finished over an hour ago. Yep. But anyway, no, I mean it's an interesting debate, guys, and I think there's good points on both sides, whether we need them or not. Liam, you're on to come in again.
Aye, sorry I interrupted you before, Pat. The thing I wanted to say was what you were saying about the coverage, how it's very minimalist, right? In Japan, the English league is covered in exactly the same way.
Mm-hmm.
But they still get massive viewing figures. Point being, if you promote the product the right way, how you actually package it is a secondary issue, I believe. Now, to expand on that, right, take a case in point. There's a pub chain in Japan called Hub, and it's British theme pubs, right? And their big thing is they show football on the weekends. Now, mostly English football, but occasionally German football, occasionally Scottish football, occasionally French football. But it's always, they've got these posters up like a few days before the game saying, like, for example, okay, tomorrow night is Marseille against PSG, right? And they've got the white strip and the blue and red strip. So the guys in the pub say, oh, I'm going to support the blue team, or I'm going to support the white team. And you end up with a pub full of punters who are like shouting for Marseille and PSG. And like, do they know anything about either of these clubs? No, they don't. But it's a game of football, and it's been marketed properly.
Yeah.
The point is how you promote the thing before it gets on screen. If you've got a fan base that is ready to watch a game before it comes on, even if the game itself is crap, you're still going to retain a lot of that crowd because you get the marketing that brings them on board. And this is where Scottish football, by and large, just doesn't get it, right? The English football here, I mean, a lot of my pals, Japanese pals, say, "Oh, I'm a Liverpool fan, I'm a Man United fan, or I'm a Chelsea fan." Why? Oh, because I've seen them on the telly.
Yeah.
That's all it is. They've got no emotional connection to these clubs whatsoever, and that's the thing which marketers in Scotland just don't get. They try to market, the passion of the Old Firm game. It's like, your average Japanese or Chinese punter doesn't give a shit about passion. They just want to watch a game of football. If you include them with a wee bit about the history behind it, all well and good. They'll be interested in it. But they don't really care about 120 years of rivalry. It means nothing to them.
Do you think the Nakamura signing was successful? Worked out well, Liam?
It could have been, but Celtic did not cash in on it anywhere near the extent they should have.
I think, was that not more to do with the fact that Nakamura had a lot of the rights to himself anyway? That was part of the actual deal. So,
No. Nakamura retained something like 60% of his image rights. But even then, I remember Celtic making a big thing about when they signed him, how they had secured exclusivity over a certain number of his rights. For example, shirt sales, 100% would have gone to Celtic. I think it was like boot endorsements, Celtic were getting half of that. Various other deals, but Celtic did very well commercially out of the actual contract they signed with Nakamura.
Right.
But they did not market it anywhere near the way they should have. I remember, I'm going back, what was it, 10 years ago we signed him, right?
Must have been.
I moved to Japan about 18 months after we signed Nakamura. And about 6 months after that, my dad came over to visit me. And he's like, "Where's all the Nakamura tops?" I'm like, "What do you mean?" He said, some guy who was I can't remember his name, the guy who was the head of Celtic marketing at the time, said to my dad, there'll be loads of Celtic tops in Japan. We've got people out there promoting the club and selling the shirts and bollocks. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Arsenal had their own shop in Tokyo. Man United had their own shop in Tokyo. And Chelsea had their own shop in Tokyo. Celtic had nothing. But we actually had a Japanese player who was marketable, and we didn't cash in on it at all. Not only was he marketable, at that moment in time, Nakamura was the best player in Japan. Even today, he's probably still in the top 5 all-time Japanese players. And, nothing. We did not do anything with that.
It's like the thought was there and the intent was there, but they just never saw it through for whatever reason, or had the ability to see it through. Because I'm no marketer myself, but you'd think certain things like you're suggesting there would be fairly obvious. Open up. It doesn't even have to be a superstore. It could be a kiosk, for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
That kind of idea. I mean, it doesn't take a brain of bloody Einstein to figure it out. It's strange. And again, given the way that we are run, Celtic is run as a club and as a company. there's no getting away from it. It is run very well. It's run very conservatively, but it is run very well. And I know some people don't like the way it's run because they'd rather be splashing the cash. But I can't fault it, to be honest, the way that they do their business. But at the same time, you would think that the huge untapped potential that we have got, and whether it is being smart and the types of players we sign from, the types of countries we get them from, and then using that to our advantage. Because let's face it, we have got to use every small advantage that we can get. And in the league we play in, as we've said, the resources just aren't there. It's totally incomparable, the Scottish Premier League to the English Premier League or any of the other big European leagues or world leagues. So we need to think smarter, and we need to be smarter. Just to try to get any little advantage we can. And I'd love to have been in a situation maybe now at this time if we could be signing a Nakamura again and see if we would have done things slightly differently this time round. I don't know if we've got more smarts about us to be able to do it now than we might have done 10 years ago. More experience, not sure, but you'd like to think that there's guys in there that are thinking on smarter ways that we can do the best with what we've got.
But here's the thing: it's like the Celtic. I think one of Celtic's main problems is that in some departments they delegate too much, and in other departments they don't delegate enough. Like the marketing and the overseas promotions, Celtic have an obsessive need to retain 100% control of that. Control freakery. But then you look at the stadium catering. They can't outsource that fast enough, and fans suffer as a result. And this is the problem. It's it's a lack of cohesion in what they do. Clubs like Man United basically outsource everything, and they just wait for the profits to come in because they've got the name they can trade on, right? And they rely on the likes of Nike and all the other sponsors to build the brand for them, right? Because they know they've got a name that can be promoted. Celtic's name is potentially, maybe not quite as big as Man United, but certainly on a par with most of the English Premier League if we marketed it properly.
Yeah.
But we don't, because we try and do it ourselves. We bring in people like New Balance, who are basically get very little presence in football at the moment. They're building. I mean, they've got Liverpool on board as well, but it's not your blue chip company that we want promoting us. I'm guessing they probably offered more cash up front than the others did, so Celtic took the cash up front without thinking of the implications.
Yeah, possibly. It's an interesting one because when you do look at that, I mean, your big sports brands are, of course, Nike and Adidas. They're the kind of, as you said, described them, your blue chip kind of the sports brands. So to a lot of people, going to a New Balance could be going a step back. But you're right, the chances are there was probably a bit more cash up front a bit earlier, and we've taken, it's the short term kind of thing as well. But I think you're right as well. New Balance have said themselves they want to try to break into more sports clothing, because I think they're famous for their footwear and things like that. But they're trying to break into the shirts. So I mean, I hope it works. I hope it works out well for them. I guess, but time will tell. Guys, I've got to give some shout-outs because the debate's been going on well there and the conversation's been good, but I need to do a couple of shout-outs. We had Darren Ball contact us via Twitter, and poor Darren says, we'll give this a listen at the gym. Hope it's inspirational. Sorry, Darren. I hope you're doing well at the gym though, mate. And also, good mate of mine from back home in Coty Briggy, Mark Lee, Scoops Lee. He says, great to hear your dulcet tones again, Kev, especially at traditional Cajun rap time. Every single Friday, without fail, we would go out, have a pint at lunchtime and get some Cajun wraps from Charlie Brown's in St Vincent's Place, if anybody knows where that is. John Brown was the guy that had it. He was from Coatbridge as well, actually, had the shop, and used to order them. Charlie Brown, St Vincent Place, Cajun chicken wraps. What a lunchtime snack that was. It was outstanding.
Boys,
great memories.
We're Speaker's having a few issues at the moment. We're kind of still online, but There's certainly sounds kind of coming and going, so I'm not really
Okay.
sure what's going on. But so the stuff on here, we're definitely on air. But I'm tuning into Spreaker. The guys in the chat room are saying it's sounds kind of coming and going, and I just tuned into my PC, and it's there's no sound on that either. So let me just check.
Not good. Oh well, we'll continue anyway, but we'll not for too much longer. The final shout out was for Alistair Jack. Al comes in and says, "Thanks for another great season of podcasts. Hoping Champions League footy, knacka," he says. And before I forget, we did have some emails that were sent us earlier on, a few months ago actually. Did get round to replying to them. But I just wanted to give a shout out to Jerry McEwen, I think was the first one. If I find it here. Yeah, Jerry McEwen had got in touch with us. Jerry's based in Puerto Galera in the Philippines. So he got in touch back in April to say that he was spreading the Celtic gospel to as many Filipinos as he could. He says he watches as many games as he can on the internet, and sometimes he gets Celtic on TV in the Philippines, usually Champions League or Europa League games. He says, your podcasts are really good and the patter's excellent. Jerry, what are you talking about, mate? Keep up the good work. So that was Jerry McEwen. So Jerry, if you're listening in, mate, thanks for getting in touch. I did say that I would try to give you a shout out the next time we were on. So there you go, mate. And also, Charlie Lamont had got in touch with us as well. A guy called Charlie Lamont, and he said that he enjoys listening to the podcasts, and he always wonders what made us all emigrate. So not just us to Australia, but yourself to Japan as well. He says, I'm sure all the people who listen or download the podcast might be interested in your lives in Australia or Japan. I think it would be a good idea to do a pod or part of a pod on how we all emigrated. So that's something we might do as a little special or something maybe next season, if anybody's interested in our story as to how we all got to where we are. But yeah, I'm glad I remember to do that, because I did say to the guys I would try to give you a little shout out the next time we were on a show. Hopefully the audio's okay and you can actually hear it. But failing that, we'll see.
I think it's coming and going. There's definitely an issue with Spreaker at the moment.
Yeah.
We're, I'm not even sure. We might even just do this live, maybe not do it as a downloadable. It's already, the first half's already there.
Yeah.
I just did a refresh of the page, and I can't actually guarantee it's going to be of reasonable quality. So we might just do this live for the, how many is listening? 18 people with the looks of it. And,
we'll see how we go.
Yeah, we just not worry about it.
We'll see how we go.
Publishing it, you could say. So.
Well, we'll start, because I want to we might as well kind of start drawing it at a close, but we'll go through. Pat, you had suggested that we maybe we talk down the current squad, or we talk about the current squad, and we maybe just rate as to who do we need to keep, hang on to, keep at all costs, or kick their arse out the door sort of thing. And who the types of players we're looking to get into the squad. Well, we just do that to try to round it off, and then we can look forward to next season. Yeah,
why not? I mean, we've got, if we just pick some of the main players, I guess we'll just get the three of us, we'll just give our views on whether they'll stay or go. I can't remember what I said now. What was it again? So it was basically a last chance saloon, that was the other one, wasn't it?
Last chance saloon, I think that was it,
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So basically, my thought on that one was if whether players that might not have had quite a crack, but they should be. I guess this would be the last season. If you really want them to do something, they might still win their contract, but maybe give them one last go, and that's all I was thinking of. That sort of.
Your categories, Pat, were keep them at all costs. Category 2, cash in while they're hot. Category 3, punt them because they're pish. Or category 4, last chance saloon. So yeah, that's what we could have a stab at. So who do you want to talk about first then, Pat?
I guess we'll just move from back to front. So I think we're pretty safe in that Craig Gordon would be your keep at all costs, I think, at this stage. Is that fair to say, boys?
Oh yeah, I think he's he is. He's one of these players that's came to us as well, and he just seems like a nice guy, The guy doesn't hide the fact that he was born and bred a Hearts fan, and all his family are Hearts fans and that. But again, I'd like to think that Celtic's making a huge impression on the guy. And he is one of these guys. I think he's came out and said it himself that he'd be quite happy to finish his career at Celtic. Whether that happens remains to be seen. But you cannot argue with the season he's had for us. I think he had the couple of clangers, unfortunately, in the very same game against Inter Milan at Celtic Park. But I can't really remember him doing anything wrong other than those two clangers.
Well, see, I don't know. I'm going to contradict you there, Kev, because I'm just looking at his stats here for the season. Right now, true. Admittedly, it's from Wikipedia, but
it must be true then.
52 appearances, Kev. 52 appearances and no goals. He's played 52 games and didn't score any goals. So really, is that the sort of guy you want in your team?
Get shot him, no use. Has to go.
He's got to go. Yeah. Right. Well, so we'll quickly rattle through them. So Liam,
I take it you were the same there, Liam and Craig Gordon. Absolutely. Yeah.
If we're going to go through every player and you're going to give the same opinion you just gave, Kev, we'll be here till what time is it? I was going to say midnight. It's only 10 minutes to midnight already.
He deserves special mention, Craig Gordon.
Right. Okay. I'm going to rattle through them. Liam, Lucas Zaluska. What does he fall under? Is he last chance saloon or is he out in his arse?
Punt him his pish.
Punt him his pish, alright.
I'd go with that as well.
Alright, so we'll go through again, back in defence sense. With another, I'm just looking at Wikipedia. There's Leonardo Fassan, so that's a no comment.
Christ, you're going through the full squad.
No, I'm not going through the full squad. I'm going to pick some funny names out of this. There's names I don't even know who they are, I'll be honest with you. So, sorry, Jack Breslin in defence. I didn't actually know who you were. Adam Matthews.
Keep him.
Yeah, no, I quite like Adam Matthews. He's still second choice behind Mikael Lustig in my opinion, when he would be fit.
Yeah, for me, I think he's ahead of Lustig now. Lustig's signal. That's from in my opinion, but anyway, Emilio.
I'm happy enough with him. I think we are going to bring somebody else in for cover at left because we don't really have cover at left back, and I don't like this using right backs as left backs thing. We need a proper left back for cover, but I'd keep Emilio.
Yep, we need cover. Whether he's first or second, I reckon he's still useful player to the team. I mean, in Scottish League, fantastic, but I think he's shown a few weaknesses in Europe, so I think hopefully we do get something. Not saying necessarily to replace him, but certainly put some pressure on that as a position in the ground. So Liam Emilio, is he a keeper?
Yep, I'd say so.
Yeah, he was a captain for Honduras the other night in our friendly against Paraguay. I watched him for 20 minutes. He did quite well. He did all right.
I thought he was going to. Didn't he get punted from the Honduran national team at one stage?
Obviously not. He was wearing the captain's armband as well, so
bizarre.
He's obviously highly rated because he's playing for a top flight European club.
like your positive outlook there, Kev. Big Effie.
Keep at all costs.
Oh dear. Okay.
Nah, we need to see if we can again. It all depends on what the defensive stuff's going to happen with Virgil and with Denier potentially. Big Boyata is going to push Effie further down the line. I would love to think my ideal would be that Big Virgil and Denier are both back for pre-season and certainly there till the end of August, the two of them.
I think the indications at the moment are that neither of them will be there. I think if the words of Van Dijk said are true, he's not just misquoted or the translation isn't quite ideal, then I think
it's just wishful thinking.
I think the club. I mean, even Ronnie's come out and actually said that he wants to keep him for the qualifiers.
Yeah,
and I think what's happened is there's been some sort of agreement, a gentleman's agreement that that's what would happen. He's obviously went back home. He's probably maybe been advised, or maybe his ears being twisted a little bit, saying, "You really think you're doing the right thing here?" And he's guessing either that, or he's basically telling the club what they want to hear, and then once he goes out the door, he's actually telling what you really think. So, but
at the end of the day, he is contracted to us and he is our player. But I mean, you don't want an unhappy player there, but. It'll be interesting to see what happens, but we cannot be going into those qualifiers with Effie as one of our defenders. I'm sorry, I just can't see it happening.
and a sort of new guy who's played a handful of games.
On tries, yeah,
exactly. So Denier for me isn't coming back, but so I think we'll just assume that at the moment until we hear otherwise. But I can't see him. I think he's.
They were raving about Denier in the game he played for Belgium, raving about him.
I think
it's as if he's just now that he's back at Man City, he's a superb player all of a sudden.
And he's got a sniff. He's actually he'll be in the squads and stuff like that. So
he's top notch, man. Denier, top notch. Yep. It's a pity if we can't get him for any longer. But anyway,
all right.
Moving on.
Mikael Lustig.
Yeah, keep him. Last chance, nah. He's injury prone, unfortunately, but there's no doubt. For me, he's the best right back we've got when can get a run of games under his belt.
Liam.
Well, since you didn't ask me about Effie, I was going to say actually keep him and deploy him in midfield next season.
Oh, have you been smoking something there, Liam?
No,
Who would drop out of midfield for Effie?
Well, it depends who gets moved on, who wants to leave, but I think there could be a space in midfield, and I'd give Effie a couple of games and then see how he does.
I think you are definitely.
He's defensively, he is not that great, but his distribution is pretty good, and I'd like to see what he could do in a holding midfield position.
I'll give you that, Liam. Fair enough.
I'm just curious to see how it would work. It's something to maybe try out pre-season and see how it goes.
I think they've tried that before, and it had limited success. So there's no way that he should oust anyone in midfield, from Brown to Mackay Steven to there'd be 5, 6, 7 players ahead of him in I'm
not saying he would displace anybody, but we might sell a few. You don't know.
Correct.
Maybe. But, well, I'm not sure that in terms of midfield. I mean, we'd have. It looks like Beaton's there. Scott Brown's going to be there. Armstrong's going to be there. Chris Commons, Mackay Steven, Charlie Mulgrew even would be ahead of him in that position, in my opinion. But anyway, we'll rattle through these. So, Lustig,
it's still an interesting point. I'd like to see it.
Lustig's almost last chance saloon because I think he's been injury prone for a couple of years. So I'm going to put him down as. I would rather have him there as the right back, but I was impressed by what Matthews did during the year. So and
Matthews is quite injury prone himself. Remember,
he is. Yeah, I'll give that, but not to the same extent as Lustig is in recent times. So, but anyway, all right, let's move on. I can't really think of anyone else in defence there that really jumps out. Midfield. We'll just quickly go through them. So, just give your opinion on each of them. So, near Beaton.
Oh, yeah, keep him. Keep him. Yep, he did well last season. He can only get better.
Yep. Keep at all costs. Scott Brown.
El Capitan.
Yep.
Got to keep him. He's doing great for us.
Yep. Best form I think he's been in since I've seen him anyway. I've never really been a huge fan of him, but he's
maturing. He's definitely maturing. He's turning into real captain material. So yeah.
Oh, there's still he still does the odd thing that just really annoys the living Jesus out of me. But just stupid stuff, lashing out and doing stuff. Sometimes
he's maturing, Pat. He's not
maturing,
but he's
exactly.
Maturing. Yes.
All right, so let's quickly go through these. The bold Dirk.
Oh Jesus, wait. Punt.
Yep.
Punt him, Dirk.
Yep.
Sorry, Dirk, but the worst signal in history.
Right, so I'm assuming, Liam, he's a punt for you.
The frustrating thing is, we'll punt him and he'll probably go on to be a great player at another team.
No, he won't. I'll stick my neck out right now and say no, he won't. He'll be equally injury prone when he goes to the other club as well. So anyway, I'll assume we'll say Stuart Armstrong. I was going to say Adamson there. Stuart Adamson. Yeah. Christ, I think my country.
Yeah, definitely keep. He'll only get better now that he's settled down. He's had half a season. And let's talk about Gary Mackay-Steven in the same breath, seeing as we always talk about the Dundee United boys together.
Yep. Well, I can't say that. They've obviously just been signed there, so they're going nowhere.
Yeah.
Chris Commons.
Yeah, no, keep as long as Commons still wants to be there. He still gets something to offer. I don't think he was firing on all cylinders last season by any manner of means, but yeah, he's still worth keeping. Good squad player.
squad player. He played 47 games last year.
Doesn't matter. He'll be a squad player this season because I'm hoping we'll sign better.
So we've got here Tom Rogic. So I'm going to limit it to last chance saloon or punt him. So I'm not saying he's certainly not a keep at all costs.
All right. Well, I'll let
which
Liam
one?
go first for this one then because I know what I'm going to say.
Right. Sorry, who are we talking about?
Tommy Rogic.
Is he still a Celtic player? Is he? Nah, definitely. punt him.
Yes. I'll give him last chance saloon just because he has had horrific injury.
Yep, I think
So
that's
last
right.
chance saloon for him. Yep.
Indeed, Charlie Mulgrew.
Keep Charlie. Keep
Aye.
Charlie. Somebody might come in for Charlie though. I think we're Burnley talking about him or something like that. So he might go anyway.
You
He's
never-
finding
Well,
it. I think Charlie will find it difficult to keep a regular place in that starting 11 next season.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Ronnie come out and say that he wanted a squad of something like 20, 22 players?
Yeah, I think he did.
I think it's something like that. So you're talking a lot of these guys. I mean, assuming they're going to be, signing one or two. There's some names in there that are potential to go. So, what do you reckon, Liam? Charlie, is he keep at all costs? Is he keep him as a squad player or punt him while he's still got value?
Squad player.
Squad player. You wouldn't punt him just to try and get some cash in for him?
No, because I don't think we'd get that much in for him, to be honest.
Yeah, I see him. I think that's a good call. Squad player for Charlie, I think.
Yeah, well, Scotland International, you never know. He's going to be playing against Irlond tomorrow. So, Stefan Johansson.
Yeah, got to keep Steph. He's going to get better. I think he'll improve as well. Yep.
Keep at all costs, I think, for me. One of the more debatable ones would be Liam Henderson.
I think. I mean, he's obviously still playing with Rosenborg just now because their season's still going on, isn't it? They play a summer league.
Right.
So and by all accounts, he's been doing really well. I would happily see Liam Henderson come back and see how he's doing. I wouldn't be looking to sell Liam Henderson just now. I think he's got potential. But I'm happy if he stays out on loan with Rosenborg for a bit longer for his experience.
I was going to offer that to Liam. You reckon it's worthwhile just putting him on loan for another half a season or so?
I mean, the Norwegian season, they wouldn't come back until November anyway. I'd say take a look at him in November and see how he's doing.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd probably punt for
that.
Certainly got potential, the guy. I like what I've seen so far. So, fingers crossed. Right, let's move on to forwards then. Guidetti's gone. Again, one that's probably going to raise debate is Anthony Stokes.
I think it's time to let Anthony go. I think we need more. We need another striker in, or maybe even two strikers. You could argue. I think it's time to let Stokesy go. Actually, he's served us well, but I think he's going to find it difficult to get into that starting 11 next season as well. Give him a pat on the back and say thanks, Tony, but time to move on, son.
Liam?
Nah, it's a squad player. Keep him as a squad player.
See, I'm leaning a little bit that way until the point comes where they sign somebody that you can trust. Put Lee Griffiths in there, he gets injured. What you're left with? So there's no real. He's about as natural goal scorer we've got after Griffiths to me, but playing him on the wings is it's never really my favourite. But maybe as a squad player, if you can get some sort of cash in for him, as in if you're talking in kind of seven figures, then maybe. But other than that, yeah, it's worthwhile keeping him, I guess. But all right, Stefan Skepovic.
I would last chance saloon him. I think last game of the season he scored a couple of goals. He's not really been given a huge run of games. I think that's partly been down to his attitude, I believe. But Ronnie's thrown him in last game of the season there, and he's done all right. So I would give him last chance saloon.
Liam?
Yeah, I would say that's pretty fair.
I would say maybe till January. See if he does anything in the early part of the season.
That'd be fair enough.
Yeah, and see where he goes from there. Right, I think one I'm going to take a guess we'll all agree on is Lee Griffiths.
Well, you make that sound very obvious. I might surprise you here.
Go on in.
I'm not his biggest fan, as you know, because I think there's no doubt the wee guy can score goals, but I just think there's too much to his game that he lacks in terms of his touch, his control, his distribution, all that kind of stuff. But he can strike a ball, he knows where a goal is. But I would class him in your cash in while they are hot category.
Oh, really?
I would actually, because I honestly think there are better strikers out there that we could attract to Celtic that would still get similar amount of goals out of them, but they've got a better all-round game than Lee Griffiths has. That's my rationale for that.
Chifchi, you think he'd be the one that come in and fill that role?
Nah, I don't. I wouldn't fancy him. I think he's got good parts. Again, he's one of my. He's a good Scottish Premier League player, but I don't think he's good enough for Celtic. Unfortunately, I think there's just. I'm still always on the lookout, as you'll know, for a Gary Hooper type, a deadly striker. I don't think Griffiths is a deadly striker.
I think it's a bit harsh on that.
I don't think he is. I think some of his chances that he can miss as well is. He can. There's just something about the wee man. It just never ever fills me with supreme confidence. See, when I think of him potentially being a Champions League striker for us, I'm not sure he could do it at that level.
Keep in mind, Kev, he's 24 years old.
Yep.
He's 24 now. Best years for a striker are well ahead of him. Mm-hmm. You're talking, 26 to 29? As I guess, as a punt would say, you'd probably be your most prolific, and then things start to slow down and bits fall off and that sort of stuff. So, I reckon he's a definite keeper. I think for me, he is as natural a goal scorer as we have, and still got far. I would
maybe agree with that, but I guess what I'm maybe kind of saying is I'm not that impressed with what we've got in the striking department at all at Celtic just now. I've got Skepovic in the last chance saloon category. We've got Lee Griffiths, who I think we can find better. Anthony Stokes, I'm already saying, can move him on. We really need two pretty decent strikers at the club, I think, to come in to put a bit of pressure on these guys. I would love if the wee man could prove me wrong, and next season he has as good, if not better, a season than he did in terms of his goals. But he's all round play. I would love that to happen, but I just don't think the wee man's got it.
No, I think you're being a bit harsh. I reckon the way he plays and the way that we play as a club, because essentially you're talking a lone striker for a guy, and you need the way that Dyla plays. He needs someone who's busy, who's basically defending from the front. And he certainly gives you that. Now, whether he can do that when he's 30 years old, but he's
added that to his game. He's added that to his game because I don't think that's the type of player he was until probably midway through the season, actually.
No, I reckon
he seemed to pull his head in, and Dyla got him doing what he needed him to do.
I've always seen him as that sort of player, as defending from the front of when he was at Hibs. I think he did the same sort of thing, and he's adding a variety of goals to his game now. He's getting goals with his head, and obviously a bit of a deadly left foot. But he's no, I reckon it's for the age he is. I think he's got far more potential. I think he's got potentially a good future ahead of him if he can progress at the same rate. He's how much he improved in that first year with Dyla. And if they can improve him even further next year, would they get 20 goals for the year? I mean, nothing in Europe because he wasn't given a chance in Europe at that stage. But and it's just the style that we play. I think he kind of suits that role. He's fast, he's busy, and when the chances come, there's a fairly good chance he'll stick him away. So, and the Huns hate him. So I mean, really,
what's your thoughts on Lee Griffiths, Liam?
I think we should definitely keep him. Mm-hmm. He's got that kind of a spark where he can just come on and do something magical. I mean, you need that, even if it's a player who doesn't perform every week. You still need that in your squad.
Nah, fair enough, boys. Fair enough. I still think there's better strikers out there to be found. But if he hangs about, I won't complain too much. But I just thought I'd use that category, Pat, seeing as he was probably one of the only guys that I would have thought could fit in there. Cash in while they're hot.
All right, so I'm going to leave the rest as a punt them or get rid of them. So we've got Amido Balde, who's still in the books.
So punt them or get rid of them?
I'd say, well, yeah.
Does that not amount to the same thing? Keep them or get rid of them?
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, it is 10 past midnight. And
what about Jamesy Forrest? What about Jamesy Forrest?
I didn't even do James Forrest, did I? Crikey,
no, you didn't, mate.
Yeah, because he was down in the list with Dylan McGeoch and Callum McGregor and stuff, but I didn't want to go through every player. But yeah, James Forrest, I think he came on a bit of a game end of the year, so I'd be saying, yep, keep at all costs. No last chance to learn. I think he makes a difference when he's fit. So
yeah, I'd be keeping him. Liam, Jamesy Forrest.
I would keep him, but I'm getting close to last chance to loan for me, I think.
Cause of his he can be prone to injury as well, of course, can't he?
He's a bit inconsistent even when he is playing as well, you know.
Yeah. Nah, fair dues.
Alright, well that's me out of my list. So Amido Balde, Timo Pukki. I think we'll say, yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Be nice knowing these.
Aye. See you lads. Yeah. Yep. See you lads as far as they're concerned.
Yep. Been a pleasure. But there's a whole here. The thing, the squad here, I'm just looking, this is just through Wikipedia. If he is going to try and have a squad of 20, 22 players, there's a lot of these guys could potentially be leaving. You know, Van Dijk, Denayer, potentially going already. There's Owen O'Connell. These are guys who got potential, but they never really pushed on, I guess, to a certain extent. Owen O'Connell, Stuart Findlay, Darnell Fisher. I mean, if you're going to keep, you can't.
I like wee Fisher. I quite like wee Fisher. Actually,
I do too, and that's why I wouldn't be surprised if someone at Lustig or Matthews left. The fact that because I think the whole idea is you have your squad, your normal first team squad, and then you back it up with youth players. And I think he's one of those ones that's kind of on the fringes of he's got potential and he's a good backup. So you have your first choice, but then what was the other ones I was looking at as well? So we're assuming Tonev and that they're all gone. Castle gone. Jackson Irvine, who's been playing with Ross County. I think he's kind of found his level. He's found his level there. Again. I've seen because I do watch the SPFFL highlights, and he's done alright for him. I reckon he's found his level. I'm not saying he'll necessarily stay with them, but I think he's found that level. He performs well for them, but just doesn't have the class for us. Callum McGregor, same sort of thing. He started off really well, but way off the boil.
Injury as well, didn't he? Got an injury, I think, towards the end of the season. That's him out for a while.
I think he's going to have to really improve if he's going to break into that midfield. There's just so much, especially with Mackay Stephen coming in, that basically he's just instantly just filled in that slot. You know what I mean? It's just I think it'd be pretty tough for McGregor these days, and might be worthwhile doing the same as McGeoch did and go out on loan to someone that'll try and hopefully stop the Huns getting back in next year. Yeah, we don't like to see Huns anymore. We can still say Huns. Yeah, we're in Australia.
Absolutely.
Yeah, anyway. Yeah, so that was it. That was the guys I just wanted to get through. It wasn't necessarily every player, but just again the more popular or again ones that had certain value. But I'll be interested to see who comes in and obviously if they fill a position. Left back we don't really have a second option there. Although who was the young guy that came in at the end of the season? Wasn't Kieran
Tierney.
Kieran Tierney, that was the one. Yeah. He seemed to do all right. I mean, it depends what Dyla wants to do. If he wants to just sort of backfill with young players, that's a whole different tack. But if you're going to want to have two players for every position, you're going to want a Matthews and a Lustig for right back. You're going to want, again for Champions League. I mean, he's in no doubt how important that is again to us this season. So it's not that we can't be taking risks getting in with untried youngsters and things like that. I don't think we've got to get reliable players in key positions. I think. But we'll see how it pans out. We shall. So anyway, that's me wrapped up.
So pre-season there are fixtures. So I'll just run through these very, very quickly and then we'll wrap it up though. So 1st of July is a Wednesday. We're at home at St Mirren Park to Den Bosch. We've got all our games at St Mirren Park, actually. Saturday, 4th of July, we've got Dukla Prague at St Mirren Park in a friendly. Friday, the 10th of July, we've got Real Sociedad, Davy Moyes' team. That's an evening kick-off that Friday evening. Saturday, 18th of July, we play SD Eibar, our only away game, our only away friendly pre-season. And finally, Saturday, 25th of July, we're at home to Rennes, French League 1 team. So it's quite interesting that we are staying at home for most of this rather than have a big mad world tour and knacker the players and chase $1 million to go to some other country. But I think it could be quite good. I think for the preparation for the Champions League, I think it's good.
So are we actually going to play St Mirren at St Mirren Park?
No. Well, just see the idea here, boys, if you haven't already twigged us, now that they're down, we're giving them some money with these gates to go out buy some players. And as you hinted at, Pat, as well, maybe we could loan some of our fringe players out to St Mirren for next season in the hope that they can, along with Hibernian, do quite well in the Championship.
But it's okay because Sevco are going to get a war chest. I saw the word war chest mentioned again during the week, so
they're bound to. They're bound to.
I am, I'm shaking my boots, Kev.
Yeah. Absolutely, absolutely. But I think that's it from me, guys. That's it from me. Are we going
Liam, do you have any notices to make? Anyone you want to say hello to, or you just got your bed as well?
A wee thing. One of the things I like besides the football is my martial arts. And last week I made another podcast with.
I noticed that. I was going to give you a ribbon about that.
And
a podcast extraordinaire, man.
We were just talking about what it's like to do martial arts in Japan compared to doing it back in Scotland. And the guy who runs the show, John's been a mate of mine since primary school. And
right.
If you are interested, go on Twitter and give them a follow at Martial Arts Chat. And check out the latest podcast. It's the one with me on it.
Brilliant. It said in episode 4 of our podcast, it's an East meets West special with Scots/Japanese journalist at Liam6783, our very own Liam Carrigan. He's hooring himself around the podcast world, isn't he, Pat?
Oh, that's disgusting.
He's doing it.
It's just disgusting.
He's doing
get a room, Liam. Fucking hell, seriously.
Fair play to you, Liam. Nah, fair play. Shout out to at Martial Arts Chat. We should give it a listen. Okay, nothing really from me because I'm absolutely knackered as well, and it's actually midnight your time, Pat. You must be mega knackered, mate.
I'll be up at silly o'clock in the morning to take my sons to Oz Kick again.
Beautiful.
It's winter time over here, so it's a wee bit chilly at the moment. So I'll be out there with my shorts and my hoops on, as I normally do every Saturday.
Good man.
John, the hoops, did anyone order the new hoops, by the way? Or?
I have. I'm still waiting on them to arrive. They haven't arrived yet. I quite like the new away top as well. I think I'll just order that.
I did buy the new home top, and it never actually arrived. I got an email from Kitbag saying that they're refunding my money because it got sent back to them. I had to order it again. It was anyway.
See, that's what you get for using kit bags and not going through the official Celtic superstore and getting more money into Celtic.
I did think about what you said, and in normal circumstances I would buy direct from the club. But
you're a tight arse bastard.
It was about, I reckon it was about $100 of a difference between buying a kit from my son and myself than it was from buying from a superstore. You're talking, possible. It was 60 £60 for the home top, and I got the home top in Australian dollars straight from Kitbag was $57.
And that was blue and white hoops.
Actually, there was some guys in Brisbane got sent the European issue top, as in with the big white bit in the back.
Oh yeah.
So I'm not sure what's going to happen there, but apparently Kitbag said, no, nothing to do with us. That's what everyone's getting. And these guys wrote back and went, that's bullshit. That's not what everyone's getting. And Kitbag wrote back to him saying, aye, it is. And they wrote back saying, no, it isn't. Okay, folks, I'm not even sure anyone can still hear me, but we've had big issues tonight with Spreaker, so I reckon I'm just going to round it off. The other guys have disappeared, so I'm going to go to my bed. Oh, someone's back.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there, but yeah. It's time to say au revoir.
I think so, call it quits. So,
hail, lads.
Are you still there, Liam? No, we lost Liam, so anyway, never mind. All right, I'm sure he says night. All right, folks, thanks everyone.
Cheers, Pat. Hail.
Cheers, boys.
Passing time, everyone's passing time, everyone their whole life through, passing time like me and you. Children play their cares away, life is fun, life is gay, building castles out of sand, living in their wonderland. Lovers know time goes by, days are long, minutes fly, fleeting glances mean so much, a lover's sigh, a lover's touch. Passing time, everyone's passing time, everyone their whole life through, passing time like me and you. Time to laugh, time to cry, time for us to wonder why, moments precious when they're gone, memories that linger on, summer sun, winter snow, autumn leaves, springs aglow, ringing changes in the sky, passing time like you and I, passing time, everyone's passing time, everyone their whole life through, passing time.